That's good. That's good. And I had that too. When you're the oldest daughter, you have that. I don't care who you are. You have that. Because you babysit somebody unless you were an only child. How have your core values changed over the last 2 years? The ones that you just wrote down, are those very different? Core values authentically define how you and your team members operate, or maybe you and your family, maybe you and your business behave and interact on a day-to-day basis. They should be supported by accountability mechanisms so that they can be easily integrated into performance and management systems. I'm like this person here, what's your name?
Rachel.
Rachel. I'm like Rachel. I have to have it in front of me. There's a cabinet in my kitchen with sticky notes on it to remind me of these particular things. So I need to have that in front of me. It helps me to make decisions that are going to benefit me and those I'm connected to, right? So that's one of my accountability mechanisms: accuracy and then check requests. Why am I doing this? Does it line up with my values? I know that I've been in some situations, not only at work, but in my personal life, where I'm like, why do I feel weird about this? Because it was not lining up with my values, my value system, right? And that's very important. Okay. All right. So, as I led through this change, taking on this leadership position, another decision I had to make. Kim, are you gonna design and develop this huge ball of energy and all of these things, and managing this work and leading this people, or are you gonna jump ship? Now I thought about jumping ship. I did. But I felt a passion for the work that I was doing. That meant that I needed to make some changes. Me personally first, and then within the team that I was leading. So I talked about this before. One-to-ones, hearing people out, hearing them. I had to be true to me and true to the team members and what I could deliver. I learned early on, do not say things that you cannot deliver. It sounds good, but if you can't deliver it and there's no buy-in from your leadership team, just don't bring it up. Team values emerge and people lead. I talked about that before. This is organic. But the future goal for me was retention, for people who wanted to come to work every day. What can you do to align your values with your positions in leadership? And the leadership position where I'm at now, 3 years ago, I didn't even have any core values. But now I can look at my core values and say, how does this align with where I'm going? Do I need to move that one to the side now and add this one? What are some aspirational values that will help you build your future as a leader? So I'm not doing this right now, but I want to do this in the future. And then this one was key for me. I know you all have perfect companies and teams, and you don't deal with any drama. It's just me, only me. I had to work on getting rid of the drama, which I learned from Cy Wakeman, and inviting people to take responsibility. That's how I led your change. Having those one-to-ones, meeting people where they were at, and saying, okay, how do we take responsibility for this though? I hear what you're saying. How can you take part in what needs to be done? How can I take part in what needs to be done? And getting rid of the drama, because the drama's not going to drive us forward, right? It's only going to keep us stuck in our story. We don't want to be stuck in our story. We want to stand on top of our story. We want to bring pain, we want to bring power to our pain and whatever we're going through, right? Is that right? Or we understand the pain? Okay. All right, so that's what I had to do. I had to start designing and developing. You heard me mention about systems. When I took that position, I didn't know where any of the systems were. So I did what I knew I could do. I started creating trackers through Excel spreadsheets to bring all of the data into one place. And now next year I'm going to see Salesforce. I know many companies already have that, but for me it was like, I'm good with this Excel spreadsheet. but I see progress. I see things moving forward because I decided to align with my core values and use my voice and speak up and ask for what I needed. Just some of my work values. Remember, these are going to be things that are strongly connected to you as it relates to your work. Equity is huge for me. Do people have what they need where they're at? Do they have that? Gratefulness. I start out with gratitude moment in every huddle. What I'm thankful to my team for. It has changed us immensely. And I also hear them say it, man, you know, you're the best somebody that I've worked for in a long time. Am I tooting my own horn? Yes, I am. Thank you. Collaboration. This is huge. I had to get to a point where, like this lady, I'm in the lane, I'm in your lane, I'm in everybody's lane, because I'm trying to juggle all these balls and make sure things get done. How many have seen that sign that says, it won't get done if I don't do it?
Or done right.
Or done right. And you would never say that, but that's what you're thinking. Yes, you say it, see? That's my friend back there. Right? So, but I had to step back because I was being disempowering by doing that. Because how people, in my experience, people don't learn unless they take on that responsibility and they start doing it. That's how they learn how to do it, and that's how they take on the responsibility of it. Even though I share with my staff, please don't text me today. They're texting me. Now, I can look at that in two ways. You don't appreciate my time off and what I'm doing, what I'm bringing to the table, but I could also look into it. They trust me. And they're saying, we just want to let you know this. Now, I don't have to look at that, but I know what they're doing, right? So, collaboration, curious is one of mine, accuracy is one of mine. And I wanted to touch on this because when I took that position, I kept thinking to myself, it's just one check request. And I would get so frustrated because our accuracy was horrible. I was like, why can't we get this check request system down right? Why can't we turn this in? What is it? And finance would always come back to me. You don't want finance coming back to you. Can I get a witness? Yeah. So I'll be like, God bless America. And so accuracy became one of my core values, and I put that in our team objectives. Hey, people, humans, accuracy has to work for us. It has to be a part of our team objectives. We are now at 98% accuracy over the period of time that I set that as one of my core values. Growth. I need to grow, you need to grow. Worked with a young lady 2.5 years, absolutely amazing woman. Program coordinator for 2 years, did an amazing job. When she came to me and told me she was leaving, I was happy to watch her set sail. We had a great working relationship. Every day was not perfect. She got what she needed and I said what I needed, right? Growth, respect, creativity, or innovation is key for me. Cy Wakeman, one of my favorite authors. Our initial response to change is rarely constructive. Companies and individuals who see change as a source of opportunity are the ones who will not only remain resilient, but will be genuinely visionary and thrive in challenging times. Just want to challenge you to look at how you lead through change. Open your eyes. So, I talked about this before. I had to position myself as a leader because I wasn't seeing myself like that. I was just seeing myself taking on this position and doing some work that felt chaotic. I was met with resistance by other leaders, passive-aggressive staff, overall dismissiveness, and little to no coaching. Because again, everybody was busy. This is my story. This is the truth. I'm not changing it. I had to recognize that I needed different people in my life at this time. I needed confidence. I needed people that I could trust to talk about what I was going through and know that it wasn't going anywhere. Now, these people happen to be outside of my work environment. constituents. I knew that there were going to be people that were for the mission. They were not necessarily for me. Comrades. They're not for you nor what you are for. They are what you are against. Co-ops. These people appreciate networking. They ask questions and they're open. I had to be open to meeting new people. I have met so many amazing people in my journey in leadership. And sometimes it's true. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And being open to get that need met as a leader. And I had to learn that. Different people went in different categories. Me being as open as I was, just talking and saying everything to everybody. Reel it back in, sister, reel it back in. And not because I was trying to be mean or bad, but because everybody doesn't need all the information you want to give them all the time. Sometimes they can't handle it, right? And I had to learn that as a leader. I talk to my CEO differently than I talk to people on my team. Now, I want to ask everybody, if you need a break, take one. I'm going to read something that's particularly heavy, something that was in my journey. If you need a break, go ahead and take one. If you need to stretch, go ahead and take one. I want to read this because it's something that I endured as a leader. Sierra Jones says, I didn't know it at the time. I'm going to read from here. But what I was experiencing was a phenomenon called pet to threat. First named by Keisha Thomas, PhD, Dean of Arts and Scientist at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. Pet to threat describes an evolution of professional discrimination for women of color. In the early pet stage, women are tokenized, coddled, and underestimated, often trotted out as diversity and inclusion. Show ponies, while at the same time dismissed and distrusted with important work that would let them grow. As people grow and become proficient, despite the disinvestment, then comes the threat stage. Once they're no longer shiny and new to the organization, in this stage, women become a threat to the status quo and can experience career roadblocks, lack of advancement, and being denied recognition for their achievement. Both of these experiences are deeply harmful. The former makes you feel a deep sense of incompetence, like you can't do anything right, and the latter makes you feel isolated and dispirited. When I was afforded the opportunity to speak here, they asked me about my experiences leading as a Black woman. This is what came out of that. Yes, it was great to take this leadership position. Yes, it was great to be gelling with my team and hearing what their needs were and setting up shadowing opportunities for them with other departments, serving them, supporting them. But this is what I was doing with behind the scenes. And you say, well, how do you know that? I was sitting in a meeting one day, a group of other managers, when a leader, we were reading through something, what people wanted from their teams. And the leader said, we do diversity hires, we hired her and him. I was like, oh, God. I felt like a token. When in fact, I was not a diversity hire. I did the work, I showed up, and I was qualified. Pet to threat. How did I make it through that? I started therapy. No joke. This, microaggressions. Some of the things that I've had to lead through change. Because you have to decide, am I going to affect change in a system that works against me? Or am I just going to go somewhere and start all over again? And I thought to myself as I was thinking about this, I didn't do anything wrong. Here's some of the things that I heard workplace interactions. I knew a strong Black woman could bring this around. Did you say that out loud? I'm telling you. I promoted her and him. They are Black. Can I touch your hair? I was in shock behind that one, let me just tell you. You know how your people are.
Never on time.
I do, because we're all different. Yeah, very heavy, very heavy. What came out of that? I'm gonna be really transparent here. I had to write down all those interactions. I'm talking about leading through change. I had to cry. I had to go home. I had to cry. I had to be in disbelief. Because, like, is this happening for real? Are these people in leadership and they are saying these things? They are talking without thinking. I remember saying to one person, even if you thought that, don't say it out loud. But what did I need to do? Go home and cry. Those, what is it, 1,000 little paper cuts. I had to deal with that, bandage up my wounds, therapy. Because what you don't want to do is not only have to deal with this and endure this, you don't want to have to make a major decision and rage quit. Because then now you have more stuff piled on top of your plate. And I'm talking about this, but what is it in your life and your situation that you need to lead yourself through change? So I had to do all those things. I had to start taking really good care of myself. I had to correct the macroaggressions on point, on site. Okay, education is good. This is a good education moment. No, you cannot touch my hair, and this is why. I had to ask if I could create affinity groups that would support this, right? And bring healing on site at work. It's necessary. I had to learn to not internalize poor treatment because it hits you right here in the gut. Microaggressions, macroaggressions, or discrimination as a metric for your self-worth. Here's something specifically for BIPOC people. You don't have to stay and fight company battles to prove yourself. That's not why I stayed. You are worthy and talented, and it's okay to move on if you need to. Again, a mentor, somebody you can look up to and talk through these things. One of my mentors is an HRBP. She's been in human relations for over 25 years. I had to talk to her immediately. Speak up for your ideas at work. Untie yourself from the burden of being a strong BIPOC person. You don't have to be strong all the time. You're a human. Before you're anything, you're human. And humans have certain needs that need to be met. Work is not a family. This is an unpopular opinion. I don't even like that. Don't say that to me. You can, if you are so blessed, you can meet people at work that become your friends. You can have great professional colleagues. But this, to me, has a negative connotation. There's certain things that my daughters can get away with that people at work cannot get away with, right? Oh, Mom, I left my favorite scarf. Can you just bring it to me, please, please, please? Okay, fine. But have to set boundaries. That was another thing that I did for my team. I had spoken on boundaries many times before, and I brought that to my team. And they were like, is this a TED Talk? I'm like, no. Maybe one day. But it's not a family, right? So we have to set those boundaries. And sometimes that's hard, right? Because these are people we see a lot of hours a day. But again, you gotta pull your voice up and you gotta use your voice and say, you know what? Thank you for that. However, this doesn't work for me in this situation. And you've gotta get better and better and better at that. If you're gonna create an environment of collaboration, peace, a place that you wanna come to, right? We're 40 hours a week. You've earned your place here. That is why they hired you. So, move about in your position, in your value, your vision, and your voice. Use it. All right. I had to get a new response to leading through change. I had to feel the pain like I talked about, shock and surprise, but have a good to know attitude. I learned this from Cy Wakeman. All this change is happening and here's what we need your team to do. Thank you, good to know. Get back behind the closed door. Oh, okay, Don't wallow. Understand your new reality. Deliver the results. Remember I talked about those one-to-ones, coaching, team objectives, huddles, wellness minutes, brainstorm sessions. I work with a magnificent instructional coach for our STEM program. She is absolutely amazing. I wish I could call her name out. She came to me and she said, COVID's going on. We're stressed out. I know we're not supposed to say that out loud, but we are. Can I do a wellness minute in our team meetings? Yes, you absolutely can. We love them. We absolutely love them. So I can go back to my superiors and they ask me, do you have wellness? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Align with the company or the department's vision and be creative enough to accomplish that through your skills, abilities, and gifts. Be confident about what you bring to the table. Stop dumbing yourself down to make other people feel comfortable. It's a win-lose. Learn how to communicate what you need. And you can do that tactfully, you can do that respectfully, and without guilt. Learn to navigate by listening and sharing honestly, positioning yourself as an expert of what you manage. I had to learn that. I didn't have to have all the answers of all the other departments. I had to be the expert of what I was managing, the work I was managing. And I had to be willing to lay my ego down and build. I had a vision, now I needed to build that out, right? From the outcomes. All right. Any thoughts? Anybody need a break? No? Okay, just checking in. All right, let's do this exercise. You can talk amongst yourself. Let's do another 5 minutes because we're going to wrap up shortly here. We're going to do some negative brainstorming, which is the brainstorming that I shared with my team, and we started doing that. So, talk amongst yourself. Pick one concern that you might have at work. Repeat it out loud so that everybody's clear. We're going to call these concerns risk, and all concerns are risk, and our leadership power lies in our ability to mitigate risk. Think about this. What is the probability of this risk manifesting itself? Is it high? Is it low? Is it medium? So you're going to mark that. What is the potential impact of each risk? High, medium, low. What are some of the strategies to mitigate this risk? Instead of using your expertise to resist or editorialize, use your expertise to make it work, to be valuable and to be creditable. So let's take the next 5 minutes, shoot out some issues and problems, and then decide on one. It is 10:10. We'll stop at 10:15. You might have about 20, but just choose one.
Is there anything that you want to share in terms of issues that you're working or the first one basically is right for me is